Hi guys, and welcome to Escape Wheel Watch Reviews. My name is Steve, and today we're looking at the Christopher Ward C60 Trident Pro 600 in 38mm. So this watch was sent to me directly from Christopher Ward. Unfortunately, I do not get to keep it, and I say unfortunately because I absolutely love this watch. Retail price for this watch is $1,095. It comes in three different sizes. You got the 38mm that you see here, you got a 40mm and a 42. It comes in black and blue, and there's also a white dial with a black bezel, which is offered only on the 40 and 42mm versions. They offer this on a stainless steel bracelet, which you see here, or you can save $130 or $145 and get it on either rubber or nylon, but just get it on this bracelet because it is just so good. So yeah, just get it on this bracelet and you won't be disappointed. So what does that get you? It gets you a 38mm 316L stainless steel case and bracelet, screw down crown, screw down case back, 600 meters of water resistance, a sapphire crystal, a version of the Sellita SW200. Excellent packaging. I mean, the box that this thing comes in is gorgeous. And you also get the Christopher Ward 60/60 guarantee, which is 60-day money-back returns. And then you also get 60 months of warranty on the movement. So that's a pretty awesome warranty and a pretty awesome buyback guarantee that you are going to like this watch. So for me, this is a pretty hefty price tag, $1,000. I've never spent that much on a watch, but I think after this review, we can all agree that this is probably worth the money. I mean, it's $1,000, but it is a heck of a package. So before we get into the dimensions, we will do a quick wrist check. And today I'm wearing my nicest watch, or pretty close to the nicest watch, is the San Martin SN021. So go check out the review for that. It's up here. All right, so let's do the dimensions. Like I mentioned, this is a 38mm watch. So as you can see, it is 40mm. I asked for the 38, but it looks like they sent me the 40, which is fine. That kind of goes to the testament of this case that it wears smaller than its dimensions. So yeah, just keep that in mind. This is, I guess, the 40mm version. Lug to lug of 47.3mm, 13.2mm thick. Bracelet is 20mm. Tapers down to 18mm at the clasp, and with the male end links, it is just under 51 lug to lug. So yeah, kind of a shocker. I thought they sent me the 38. It wears very nicely, and I thought it wore very nicely for a 38. Maybe a little bit big for a 38, but they actually sent me the 40, and I'm just finding out that now, so that's kind of weird. But I mean, it just wears so good. Just look at the side profile on this thing. You got really nice turn down to the lugs. They did a lot of sculpting on the side of the case, which we'll talk about. And I mean, I think it wears so good. Yeah, it just wears excellent. So I am going to go outside right now and throw this on the wrist for you. And here we are on my 7.5-inch wrist, and you can see, I mean, this thing just wears excellent. I love the case size on this thing, let alone the case shape on this thing. I mean, it's got good curve down to the lugs, as you can see there. It really hugs the wrist nicely. Bracelet feels very nice and balanced, and I mean, it just looks great. Look at, I mean, all that shine, but still extremely legible. Yeah, I mean, I've got not much bad to say about this thing. So getting in some direct sunlight here, you can see it's still plenty legible. Get a little bit washed out there, but it's really not that bad. And yeah, I mean, it looks really good. All that ceramic and, you know, really shiny dial there. It looks really good. And yeah, very comfortable, like I mentioned. Very happy with it. Let's go put it on some straps and we'll get back to the review. Here we are on the black Silicone Elite from Barton straps. Yeah, I mean, it looks great. You know, no doubt a black rubber on a black diver is going to look good. And yeah, it does. It looks really good. I'm going to throw this on some other ones though. Here we are on a leather strap, and divers look good on leather. Changed my mind. I've always liked divers with leather straps for some reason. I don't know why, but yeah, this is no exception. I still really like it. Dark brown leather. This is one that came off of my Octopus Kraken, and I think it looks really good on this. That bird is very loud. I'm going to go throw this on some other straps though. Apparently he doesn't like this one. And here we are on these freaking ducks, man. Here we are on a a green and red elastic strap, single pass. You can still see, keeps the watch still pretty low to the wrist, and yeah, looks alright. Not my favorite one. I'm going to throw down one more one, and we will get back to last but not least. Here we are on a NATO strap, 2 layers underneath the watch there, and still, I mean, it's up a little bit high, but I think it looks pretty good still. You know, they got a nice curve down to those lugs, and yeah, still looks pretty good in my opinion. Very comfortable as always, and I think this color combo looks pretty good. What do you guys think? All right, let's go back inside, finish up this review. All right, so let's talk about the case finishing on this thing. And case finishing is just excellent. I mean, look at, you got a really nice vertical brushing on the tops of the lugs here. I mean, it's super smooth, very satinized, very fine brushing. It looks excellent. And then on the side of the case, you also have another horizontal brushing that goes along the length of the case here. All that's separated by this really nice polished chamfer. I mean, the polishing looks to be done very, very well. I mean, getting real close here. I mean, it is super sharp. Yeah, it just looks great. Looks so good. I don't see any flaws in the polishing or the brushing on this thing. The bottom part of the case here, as you can see, it's kind of scalloped out, scooped out a little bit, and that just lends to the thin appearance. You know, it's a 13.2 millimeter dive watch. Not necessarily the thinnest dive watch, but the way they've cut this case and used different mixture of polishing and brushing, I think it just works really, really well. I love it. I mean, the case on this thing is excellent. As you can see here, you got a really nice big crown here with the Christopher Ward logo on it. And then you have this chamfer that runs all along the length of it, and it kind of flares out where these crown guards are. Really nicely done. I mean, again, nothing bad to say about the case finishing on it. It's very impressive. The case back on this thing is, again, really, really nice. You got nice deep grooves to get a tool in there. Really cool engraving or depression that they have on it. I mean, it looks awesome. You got the polished Trident with the matte finish everywhere else. And yeah, it just looks really, really good. The bottom of the case is a vertical brushing. Everything is smoothed out, and this thing is super comfortable to wear. And it just, yeah, they did an excellent job on the case. So the bezel on this thing, it is a 120 click unidirectional, and they went out and they tested a bunch of watches from higher end manufacturers to get the clicking sound just right. And I gotta say, I mean, this thing sounds excellent. It's got absolutely no play in it. It's rock solid. The alignment is perfect. I'll let you just listen to this. Hopefully you guys can hear it. I mean, just nice and solid clicks. Very even resistance all the way through. Definitely one of the best, if not the best bezels I've tested so far. Very, very happy with the bezel. The bezel insert is a full ceramic bezel insert. All the numerals, all the dashes, everything you see here in white is luminescent, so it glows really nicely at night. We'll talk about the Lume here in just a little bit. The finishing on the bezel, again, just excellent. I mean, look at the teeth on the grip there. It just looks really, really good. Very sloped insert, as you can see. And I mean, again, there's nothing I dislike about this bezel insert. Nothing. Let's talk about the crystal on this thing. So I did test it. It's sapphire. It's a flat piece of sapphire. There's anti-reflective coating on the bottom side here. And you see it sits just ever so slightly above the bezel insert. Nice little chamfer on the outside, but it's a dead flat sapphire crystal. Yeah, I don't hate that style of crystal at all. It's one of my favorites, especially on a watch with a black dial. I don't know what it is about it, but it just looks so good. So yeah, I am pretty happy with the crystal on it. I'm glad they didn't put any crazy dome on it or crazy blue AR, but it just looks good. So let's talk about the dial on this thing. So like I mentioned, this is offered in a white dial, a blue dial, and a black dial. And I think they all look pretty good. I do really just like a black diver. This dial, it is glossy black. It is just so deep. There's no hint of gray to it at all. It looks really, really good. Very clean. You've got that kind of weird little Christopher Ward flag logo thing there at the 12 o'clock. Then you got Christopher Ward at 9 o'clock. I know that's pretty controversial. I thought it would bother me, but it really doesn't. I think it does balance out pretty well. You've got the date window here at the 3 o'clock, and it is a color matched date dial. Yeah, I think it looks pretty good. Everything is centered. Got a nice little frame around the date window there, and it looks pretty good. You've got the double batons at the 12 o'clock, single batons everywhere else, and then these kind of short batons at 3 and 9. And I think the balance of the dial looks really, really good. It's kind of unusual for a dive watch to have these batons on it, but I think it works pretty well. Yeah, really happy with it. The automatic down there at the 6, along with the 600 meters, 2,000 feet. That is printed in red to give a little bit of pop of color. Looks really good. You got the Swiss made down there at the bottom, and then you got a nice simple printed minute track all the way around. I mean, everything looks excellent. The hands are very nicely sized, in my opinion. You got that really cool kind of arrowed hour hand there, and they have a mixture of brush and polish, which I just love. So most of the time you can read this thing just fine. And yeah, I'm very happy with it. You got the really cool counterbalance on the second hand there. That Trident looks really, really good. You see the outer chamfers on the hour hand and minute hand. They are polished, and then you got a nice strip of brushed metal right down the middle. And you can see even on this, the very tip of that hour hand has just kind of a weird little area that's brushed, but it's always visible. And that's what I really like about it. And the other thing that I really like about it is the lume on this thing. So it's definitely not the brightest lume. I'm going to pop up the lume shot right now. So here you can see, again, some of the other watches in my collection. And these are some of the better watches. And you can tell it definitely doesn't hold on as well as the St. Martin does. But it is very solid. And the thing I like about it is that it's so crisp. It is such a crisp application. I don't like just the lines of the lume are just really crisp, where everything else in my collection is a little fuzzy on lume shots. So yeah, the lume is really cool on this. It could be a little bit better. It's definitely acceptable. But yeah, they could put a few more layers on it and get it a little bit brighter. So let's talk about the movement in this thing. So this is running a Swiss Sellita SW200, or a version of that. I think they just did a couple little customizations to it to make it a Christopher Ward movement. But yeah, it is all operated by this 3 o'clock screw down crown. You get super nice screw in, screw out action. We'll talk about that when I put it back in there. Nice big crown, but you pull it out to the 3rd position, which it's in now. It hacks the movement, and that's where you can set your time. You put it in to the 1st position, and this is where you change the date, and everything changes over just as you would expect it to. Really nice, smooth, very smooth hand winding action. I've had plenty of PT5000 movements, and they are definitely not as smooth as this one is. So yeah, very nice and smooth action on this. You push it in all the way, and it kind of gets into there's like no resistance at all on that crown threading. Very nicely done. Not like something like a San Martin that I'm used to. That is you're still winding the movement while you're screwing it in, and it makes it a little bit difficult. This one, you're not winding the movement anymore. You're just going right with the threads. It's super smooth. Yeah, really nice screw in action and screw out action on that crown, and it's a nice big grippy crown too. So very happy with it. So let's talk about the bracelet on this thing. So the bracelet is done very, very well. You have, it follows the case finishing here really nicely. The brushing is like a perfect match. You do have male end links, which is a little bit of a bummer, but I don't think it wears too bad even on this bracelet. It does taper down from 20 down to 18. Fully brushed on the top surface here. You got brushed on the side surface here as well. And I think it all looks really good. You got a pin and collar sizing system here. You can actually have Christopher Ward size it for you if you want to. But yeah, I didn't have too much of an issue sizing this thing. The clasp on it, again, really nicely finished with a brush finishing on all the surfaces. Everything has been, honed back and rounded off, so it's a very comfortable clasp. Pretty low profile for being fully milled. You can see the inners here with the Christopher Ward logo, again, fully milled. And just really a nice clasp, and one of my favorite things about it is it has an on-the-fly adjustment. So you kind of pull this little lever back here, and then you can adjust it. One thing I don't understand why is that you can adjust it shorter without pulling that. I don't understand that. You can't go any longer without pulling this through, but you can go shorter, which is kind of weird. But I guess Yeah, I don't know why they did it that way, but they did. I haven't had any problem with it kind of switching on its own, but maybe that could happen. But yeah, it does look really good, and it does function very well. So overall, I'm pretty happy with that. They also include half links in the bracelet, as you can see here. So you're not going to have any problem getting a good fit on this watch. And that's one of the things I really like about the bracelet. It's super fluid. Yeah, it's just super, super comfortable. And probably my favorite party trick of this whole thing is a quick release bracelet. I mean, that right there, for me, you guys know I love my straps. Being able to swap on and off a bracelet so quick and so easy is a killer feature. So all it is these two little tabs here. You pull these two tabs together, and it comes right off. And it's super simple, super easy. I haven't had any problem with it, and it's definitely my favorite feature of this watch. I am a strap whore, you guys know that, and I just love it. Absolutely love it. If I am going to knock a point off on this thing, it is for the end link fitment. So I'm going to see if I can show you guys. So you can definitely wiggle this back and forth just a little bit. You can probably see it there. Maybe you can hear it. But yeah, you can wiggle this back and forth a little bit. But when it's on the wrist, it feels fine. I don't hear it or anything like that. So it's definitely there. They could tighten that up just a little bit. But yeah, I've got no real problems with it. Other than that, that's it. That's like the only thing I can knock on this watch, and that's kind of crazy. So there you go, guys. That is the Christopher Ward C60 Trident Pro 600 in, I guess, 40 millimeters. So really happy with this watch. If you are interested in it, I'm going to leave all of Christopher Ward's information down below in the description. Huge thank you goes out to Christopher Ward for sending me this watch and trusting me with this watch. I don't want to send it back, but I'm going to, because I don't want to be charged $1,000, at least not yet. And yeah, huge thank you to all you guys for supporting the channel. Me getting a watch like this wouldn't be possible without you guys. So thank you guys so much. If you have any questions or comments on this watch, leave them down below. I'll do my best to answer them. Let me know what you think about it. And I think that's about it. Thanks a lot for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one. See ya.